play finally, and in a game that you shouldn't be in. Overtime, anything happens. Make it a 44-44 game, because one play can determine the game, and it certainly did with Detroit losing by a field goal. I love the fact that they go for it this early in the year. The Lions, an up and down squad, they're now 1-2. You go for it in a way. I mean, I see the kind of scenario where you do go for it, but in Jim Schwartz, he's one of those fiery coaches, perhaps one of the few coaches that would go for it in this situation. But quarterback sneak, perhaps the worst play in the entire playbook you can call on 4th down and 1. Put the ball in the air. Sean Hill and Matt Stafford over 400 yards in the game. You go with the running game on fourth and a yard. Certainly not the scenario you envisioned on 4th and 1, but a big game, perhaps the game of the week. Congratulations to Tennessee. Both teams 1-2, and just real quick before we round it out here, do you see any of these teams making the playoffs?
Tennessee was kind of knocking on the door last year. I think for at least this year, they might take a little step back, getting the growing pains of Jake Locker. So, I don't necessarily see them in there. But Detroit, absolutely. I don't know the extent of Matt Stafford's injury, so, that's something we'll have to get a little bit of touch on. But assuming he's healthy, I think this is a team that, is definitely going to be towards the end of the year. It depends how Green Bay does and everything for winning the division, of course. But, one of those teams that'll be fighting for a wild card spot. It'll be interesting to see. Could it come down to them and the Cardinals, two very good teams, but can't quite get a hold in their division because of what teams are in that division. So, quick answer, Tennessee, not so much, but Detroit could definitely be a possibility.
Detroit 1-2, and they have they dropped a big one. Tennessee is one of those bottom 10 guys going into the draft. Tennessee wins their first game, 44-41 your final, and no doubting the game of the week for week number 3. So let's just round out the quick scores, and then we'll send it over to Phil to have your final thoughts on the Monday night game as we are in the fourth quarter of that matchup. The Giants won on Thursday night, 36-7. Just going over the key games, Dallas winning over the Buccaneers, 16-10. We didn't get it on this broadcast, but obviously the second straight week, Greg Schiano calling the blitz with under 30 seconds to go with the quarterback knee obviously in the formation. Jets win big over the Dolphins 23-20 to go to 2-1. Vikings win in an upset 24-13. Chiefs down the Saints, and now New Orleans at 0-3. Obviously questions and fingers pointed all over the place over there in New Orleans, Titans win a close one by a field goal. The Bengals pull it out over RG3 and the Redskins 38-31. Cardinals win big along with the Falcons, and the Houston Texans pull it out against the Broncos. And then the Sunday night game between the Ravens and the Patriots, Baltimore winning on a controversial field goal. And Phil, what do you have on our final thoughts of the Monday night game between the Seahawks and the Packers?
Well, we got about 10 minutes left in this game, and Green Bay has the ball right now close to the red zone. They've officially gotten in the red zone with a pass to their fullback. Seattle's still leading 6-7. We actually just broke up a fight between Greg Jennings and a Seattle corner. There was a chip block made downfield that the corner did not take very likely to, and there was a skirmish, lasted a good 30-40 seconds. And in true replacement referee fashion, we had 2 offsetting penalties and nothing got done. But the Packers are driving now. They are in the red zone in Seattle territory. 1st and 10 at their own, what looks like 11-yard line. 6-7, Seattle leading at the moment.
And there's your update with the Monday night matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is going right on the fly, but I'm going to, perhaps this will be a cool thing to do for week in and week out on the NFL goal line. I will give the game ball to the top performance of the week over in the NFL. And for our first edition of our game ball presented to the top player of the afternoon, no guy in the entire NFL proved bigger in their win over a team than Jamal Charles with 33 carries, 233 yards, and a touchdown in their win over the Saints. Kansas City has a tremendous running back now back from injury, Jamal Charles. Look for him to be one of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the NFL. Thank you for watching this presentation of the NFL Goal Line with Nick and Phil. Please make sure to tune in next week as we have more storylines heading around the National Football League. Thank you guys for watching again, and obviously we'll see you next week. NFL Goal Line Mondays, at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for listening. And again, this is Nick Rice along with co-host Phil Nunziata. We'll see you next week.